Hello there, my name is Chris Palmer, and in today's video, I'd like to share with you how you can get more traffic to your website or your blog. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to walk you through a process, a way that you can get more traffic to your websites in most cases, and in a lot of cases, without even creating more content. Now, this method or this strategy or this technique is often described as a keyword cluster or keyword clustering. Now, actually, the way that I do it is a little bit more modified. So I actually would love to walk you through step by step exactly how you could go about doing this. I'll obviously speed it up because it's a relatively short video, but I'll walk you through it. I'll show you actionably. I'll take you to the website. I'll show you what to do step by step. So let's not waste any time. So the very first thing is you may want or you may need or you're going to need some type of tool. For this particular example, I really like to use SEMrush only because they make data really simple, and especially for keyword research or competitive analysis pertaining to keyword research, top notch. Now, along with that, I want to share with you this patent because it's very important to understand why we do things this way, and this is, again, just one strategy. But one of the things that you need to take into consideration is locating meaningful stop words or stop phrases in keywords-based retrieval systems, right? Now, there's actually multiple write-ups on this, but what I'm getting at is this. When we're doing keyword clustering, you're going to be thinking, why would I want to utilize all of these different variations, technically speaking, of keywords for a piece of content? How can this help me? And the reason is because words that are within, before, after, or inside of a phrase could determine or make a different meaning that we could actually start picking up more traffic for those particular keyword phrases or keyword clusters. So of course I wanted to go ahead and share this with you, and this is what makes it make more sense, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. And this is a Google patent. This has actually been written up by multiple people, but you could just do a quick search related to stop words in phrases, and it's a Google patent. All right, so that's why I think that it's one of the things that you need to know. All right, so that's why it's important. Here's the patent to go ahead and prove why it's a little bit more important. What we're going to do is, for this example, we will go ahead and share this is a WordPress document. You don't have to use WordPress in order to implement this strategy. It's just a place that I can visually show you and put this into action. All right. So one of the very first things is obviously you're going to be targeting a market. Now, you may already have a piece of content. You probably already have a website, and this works best if you already have a piece of content already laid out. Reason being is because we want to be able to target more key phrases. We want to be able to generate more traffic without paying more money, without building more content, without spending more time, right? Now, again, of course, when you want to build more traffic, the idea would be, hey, maybe I should build out some more content. But this is a way that you can certainly increase your website traffic without doing that, all right? So we're going to need a seed set, and it's going to be laid out just like this. So let me come on over here so we could draw it out. We're going to do whiteboard, all right, because I'd like to make a list. I realize that people think in a particular way, like listing, like 1, 2, 3. So let's do, it's called a whiteboard. So B-O-A-R-D, this is an app. Documents web, where are you? I should have saved it in here. Let me just take a look at this really fast here. I should have pulled it up already, but this way I can go ahead and give you a list of exactly what we're going to do. So step 1 is going to be this. Number 1 is going to be gather, right? Oh, let's make it big. Gather up keywords, all right? So gathering up keywords is going to be 1. All right, now let's go ahead and just do number 2. So number 2 is going to be cleaning out the list. Now, there's multiple ways to do keyword clustering. Now, I made a video on this in the past, and it actually did pretty bad because I do a variation of it. I do it my way, right? So I'm going to show you my way again. Even though in the past, hey, maybe it didn't perform so well, I took down the video, but I was asked to go ahead and share this with you today. So that's what I'm going to do. So 2 is we need to go ahead and clean that list. So cleaning the list meaning we need to clean the list that we've created of keywords, keyword variations, and keyword phrases that we're going to be including into our keyword clusters. All right, so let's go ahead to number 3. Number 3 is going to be, what is your intent? You need to decide this from a standpoint of your content, your website, and what you're trying to achieve for that piece of content. Meaning, is this going to be commercial intent? Is this going to be informational intent, right? So you're not going to just cram all the keywords into a piece of content, but you really need to decide what is the intent, all right? So hopefully that makes sense to you. So that's 1, 2, 3. Cannot get much simpler than this. Now, the fun actually begins over here. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a target key phrase. Now, a target key phrase is going to be something that you're trying to target, or the piece of content that you already have that you'd like to make some keyword clusters for, and definitely increase the website traffic or the page traffic, blog traffic, whatever you're trying to increase. All right. So for this particular example, what we're going to do is something that's near and dear to my heart: SEO consulting, New York. This is just an example. I use this quite frequently. So now obviously you can start from the very beginning with a tool like SEMrush or whatever you're most comfortable with. But what we're going to do is we need to figure out our keyword, and we need to see, and for this particular example, I'm only going to do 1, but you would do this with all of your top competitors. And what we're trying to do is we want to not only see what keywords they're ranking for, but the variations of the keywords that they're also bringing in traffic for. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what I mean. So we have SEO Consulting New York, all right? So for SEO Consulting New York, one of our top competitors for this particular keyword is Jimmy Hugh, or Jimmy Ho, or I'm not really sure exactly how you would pronounce that. So one of the key things that we want to do is we want to go ahead and paste that in there, and it needs to be the exact URL. All right, so let's go ahead and do a search on that. So as you can see here, it's going to bring up the keywords for this particular page that it's going to be ranking. Now, what we're looking for to start clustering for this page, because this is the page that is ranking, what we're looking for is variations, phrases, or variations of the keyword that we can start making a list of. Now, again, I'm only doing this for one site to save time. But you need to do this for all of your top competitors, but more so the entire page. So what I would be doing is I'd go to number 1, I'd go to number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all of them. Reason being is because these pages are ranking, they are showing significance within the SERP, the search engine results page, right? They are ranking. Now, just because a page is ranking for a primary keyword, in this instance, SEO Consulting New York, does not mean that that page is not generating traffic for other keywords and keyword variations. And that's the objective here. We're keyword clustering keywords and variations so we can add those to existing content to increase our website traffic. That's the objective here. Okay, so let's go over here, and what we're doing, and this is a little bit, time consuming, can be difficult, but hey, for this instance, obviously you'd probably want to use a sheet, but just for sake of time and easeability for me, plus I don't want to open up anything on this particular computer, I'm going to use a text document. So what I would be doing, and SEMrush makes it very easy. I could go click, 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 and then export. But again, for the video, what I'm looking for is SEO consultant. Okay, New York SEO consultant. There's one. New York SEO expert. All right, New York NYC SEO consulting. You see what I'm saying here? Digital marketing consultant. All right, you see what I'm getting here? I'm getting the variations and I'm getting the other words that this particular page is ranking for that I can actually start to cluster. All right, that is what we are doing here. So just for sake of demonstration of the video. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one. Now, obviously, you can do this a lot easier, especially if you're utilizing or implementing a tool such as SEMrush, right? You can do this a lot simpler. You can just export, especially when you're trying to digest and get as much data as possible and you're trying to get more than one competitor. But again, For the video, for sake of demonstration, this is how we're going to do it, just to make it the easiest way possible. So I'm going through, I'm looking for variations and other similarities of the main keyword to be able to create a keyword cluster. Now, again, if we revert back to the patent, stop words or words containing within could mean a different meaning. More so, what I'm getting at here is the patent is talking about understanding an entire phrase. So even if there's a stop word, even if the phrase is slightly different, it could have a new meaning and it could potentially earn you more traffic. The reason why I like to do it this way, competitor-wise, is because now we have a guaranteed system. We know this guy's already getting traffic for these keywords. Reason being is I just pulled him. I went to my #1 ranker. I went through the SERP. I popped it in the SEMrush, and I'm looking at this page. What's this guy bringing in that I'm not, right? Or gal, whatever the case is, right? So, and then I'm compiling my list. I'm making my keyword cluster, all right? Now, as we're doing this, we're taking a look. Now, I'm probably skipping some, and I'm sure you could go in deeper, but I'm sure that you're starting to gain and understand the process of this part. #1, which is gathering up the keywords and creating a list. Now, you would have did this for all 10 ranking sites, all right? The reason being is we want to compile the largest list possible, all right? So all 10 sites for main keyword, all right? I'm adding on. Now, cleaning the list. Now, cleaning the list is something that you're going to need to do because generally what you're going to end up doing is whatever tool you decide to use, you're going to just export the entire list. You're going to gather everything. And then what I just did on this page, I'm just copy pasting, bringing it over. You would have spreadsheets, and then you'd have to take out the stuff that wasn't relevant to the primary keyword. I'm looking for stuff that contains at least partial matches of the keyword so I can compile a list. Now, you should be able to compile a list of at least 50 to 100 keywords depending on the primary. A big list. Now, let me go ahead and show you exactly what we need to do as far as implementation. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to utilize this particular page right here. Now, if the primary keyword, all right, for your blog, your website, if the content's not already written, then I would go about it like this. Because not only do we need it to be relevant for the end user, but we need it to be relevant semantically. Now, one of the best ways to do this is if our primary keyword is going to be SEO Consulting New York, right? SEO Consulting New York. Now, that's going to be the title of our page. Reason being is we want the title to match what's in the SERP and showing, and when the customer or the bot comes to the page, it matches. So SEO Consulting New York is going to be in the title, the URL, and the H1. Okay, so the very first header on the page is going to contain our target key phrase. Okay, so this is the H1. So the H2, I want to throw you in a little twist, something I've been playing with after speaking with a SEO professional, and it's been working on some other projects, so I'd like to share it with you today. You put in your primary keyword up here, and then for the most semantic, you scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you take a look. Whatever's relevant to that key phrase, this is now your lead H2. Now, I've implemented this on other sites, and it makes a ton of sense. It's been very helpful. So scroll down to the bottom, and then pick one. Because remember, take a look at these, and then pick one, and this is going to be your lead H2, all right? So whatever makes sense, SEO services, okay? So now we have our SEO services as our lead H2, all right? Now, if you already have the content or you're having the content written, I want you to keep this in mind. What you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish is all of the keywords or the keyword cluster that you're generating from the top 10 search results that have the primary or a variation of the primary, or it has just a part of the primary inside of a phrase or an entire, a whole sentence, right? It could be 4 words, 5 words, anything that's containing. This is what needs to be weaved into the content. This way we can increase our website traffic. The other piece that I want you to implement and I want you to do sparingly is if you take a look at these search results, all right? Take a look at these. There's something that pops out. Now, what's going to pop out are words that are bolded. The bolded words are there to help identify to you of the relevance of what the search results are showing you, All right, this has been talked about to extent, but I want to share it with you today in case you haven't heard it. So if you take a look here, consultation, all right, these are other words that you want to make sure also could be considered variations, right? So variations, and then you want to make sure that these are woven or taken out and added in, right? Instead of repeating the same thing over and over, you want to use these words that are bolded. And then if you take a look to get a big jump of them, because remember, our primary keyword is here, SEO Consulting New York. The objective of this video is to share with you how you can increase your website traffic. One of the ways is by incorporating other keywords to make your pages more relevant and to target more key phrases. So just like I shared with you before, a lead H2, also you want to get all these bolded words to get the variations, but if you scroll down to the bottom, see these words, how they're bolded for this particular search term? These are other words that will make your primary more relevant, and you want to make sure that you get those on the page as well. Now, obviously, don't use another brand name. SEO DevelopMark, my good friend Ruan, which is DevelopMark, you might not want to put his name on your page, but if you take a look, the word all, the word company in, the word city, the word company Long Island, New York, this would be relevant. This is going to make your page more relevant for the particular primary keyword, which is up here, all right? Now, of course, this is not just on-page SEO. We're talking about keyword clustering, and that really is going to make up the rest of this video because at the end of the day, I walked you through the process. It's all about gathering up the keywords, all right, like we mentioned before. Gather up all the keywords from site 1 through 10. Now, you can utilize other search sources to create these word lists, all right? These word lists are other words that they're getting traffic for that are related to the primary keyword. You're making up a list. Words that you can include into already existing content or content that you're going to get written. 2, you need to clean the list. This is highly relevant for the people that are utilizing tools and doing it at scale, which is something I recommend. Now, if you're going to use a tool, obviously, I use SEMrush. It's what I like, use it, but there's other tools out there that are free. You can use Wordsy. You can use, there's a bunch of them, right? I'm not going to go through all these lists, but that's going to be number 2. Number 3 is, it's not WHT, but we get the point. What is the intent? What the intent means is when you're cleaning your list, you need to keep in mind what is the intent of the page, because just because they're getting traffic for it, for that particular keyword, it still needs to match the intent of your page. Is it informational? Is it commercial? Is it a buy-centric? Like what type of page is it? Don't just willy-nilly add in pages. So that's going to really make up the bulk of today's video, talking about keyword clusters, a way that you can increase website traffic, how you can increase traffic on your blog. It's quite simple. If you already have the content in place, you can just go add variations, different keywords, the bolded words, make it more relevant. Also add those other key phrases. And don't forget that big tip that I gave you, scroll down to the bottom, and one of these that makes the sense for your page is now going to be your lead H2. I guarantee an increase in traffic. My name is Christopher Palmer. If you have any further questions related to how to get more traffic to your website, how to get more traffic to your blog, if you have any questions related to SEO, off-page SEO, on-page SEO, Facebook ads, really anything at all, always feel free to go ahead and ask in the comments below. I answer every question. And I look forward to seeing you in the next How to Get Website Traffic to Your Website video. Have a blessed day. That was fun. Anybody have any questions about anything? I'd be more than happy to answer them. I have a live coming on with my main man, Craig, at 12 noon. All right, Sir X says, hey, Chris, hello to you. Learn English Easily says hello. Hello, brother. How are you? Learn English Easily says, always watch your video from India. Great to have you on from India. Hello from Pennsylvania. Jacob Pook Corral says, hello, Chris. Appreciate your great video content you're sharing with us. It's my pleasure. I'm actually doing this as a request because I had a video that was similar, and I got bad feedback, but I was asked to redo it because I do it a little bit differently than other people. You know, I've read, you know, when I first learned about this concept, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, they're just they're making it more difficult than it needs to be. You know, like on I broke it down how I do it, how I like to do it, and you know, we could put whatever name we want on it, but I think after you have your content, you know, it's just like that, the tactic for search results. Here's another tip. You know, say you're using Search Console. You know, let's say that we're utilizing this particular property, right? When you're coming inside of here and you're looking at your overview or performance, you'll notice, again, it's along the same side, along the same lines, right? Because what you'll start to see is there's words that you're ranking for that aren't already on the website, right? And if Google is showing you inside of Search Console and they're giving you traffic for keywords, then they think that your site is about this. So if you're going through here and you know that the page that's receiving traffic and you see it in Search Console or wherever you're looking, and you're like, well, wait a minute, I'm getting traffic for this keyword, but it's not on the page, go and add it to the page, all right? This will certainly help you increase traffic, all right? So that's another tip, another way that you could get it. And don't just limit yourself when you're doing keyword clustering or you're trying to look for other keywords, variations, phrases. Don't limit yourself to just one tool. SEMrush is a great tool, but you could use Answer the Public. You can use, I mean, there's a million things, all right? So don't just limit yourself is the main point here, all right? So hopefully that helps you. Good morning, brother. I've submitted a few questions on the training. Please, when you have time, give a response. Okay. How many keywords should put for inner page and how pages? I use 5 to 6 for internal pages. Homepage 12 to 15 keywords and 15 words. Well, again, if a page can rank for hundreds, if not thousands of keywords, depending on the article, right? At the end of the day, when we're going out to the SERP, let's use this for instance, SEO Consulting New York. When we're doing our first step of analysis, right? Before we go to our writers to figure out exactly how much content we need, one of the very first steps of analysis is what is the SERP calling for? Meaning, are there blog pages here? Are there service pages? Are there internal pages? Once we've established that, we need to come to a conclusion of, well, what is the SERP calling for as far as length? Now, you don't have to pinpoint the particular length, but if you have sites that are ranking that have 3,000 words and sites that have 1,500 words, great, you know your range, all right? So you want to build a piece of content that is that large. So to answer your question, what I'm getting at is, you know, as long as there's fluctuation, right? As long as if you have a 500-word article, one of the top rankers has a 3,000-word article, don't limit yourself to just add in 15 words or 20 words, whatever makes sense. What other words that your competition is utilizing within that piece of content that they're getting traffic for, when you go down this, he's getting traffic to this page for all of these different keywords, right? Don't just limit yourself. Like, look at these variations, look at these phrases, and add those to the pages where it makes sense. Don't just add them, right? To put a particular number on it is what I'm getting at here, Abdul, is don't do that, right? Anything that makes sense for your page, regardless of the amount, add it, all right? And I think you'll be better off. All right, going down the list here. Again, I have to hop off in a minute here. We have a live with Craig Campbell. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask on Craig's channel. But I'll go ahead and answer some more here if we have any here. So we'll get rid of this and this and this. Okay. And then we have this. We can leave that. All right. So thanks, Chris. Hey, and Jeff, no problem. Abdul says, are you going to do something on Facebook ads and YouTube ads, Chris? You know what? It's funny because I've ran YouTube ads multiple times. I've ran Facebook ads multiple times. You know, I'll probably do some stuff. Yeah, I probably will. You know, my central focus is SEO, though, for the channel, you know. I'll probably do something with YouTube ads because I'm going to run some campaigns for an upcoming project. So what I'll do is I'll probably just record it live and then give it to people so then they'll have a live walkthrough, you know. But YouTube's really easy. Facebook can get tricky, so can YouTube. But they're both pretty simple to set up. I think it's more about the tracking and really watching is where people, I think that's where the edge is. I think that's where the talent comes in, or the, the experience comes in. Because when anybody could go in and set it up, right? It walks you right through it. But sitting and setting up multiple variations, different campaigns with different, pictures or videos, setting up those different, and then setting up the different, modifiers as far as targeting is concerned. This is where, and then sitting and watching it, like getting rid of these, adding new ones, taking what works, add this, right? That's where the trickery, that's where it starts to get difficult, because you have to be on it. After that first week, when you just let that run and then you go look at the data, that's when the campaign starts, So hopefully that helps you out. I'm waiting for Craig to message me, and he has not. Okay. All right. So, hey, Chris. All right. So you are different than others. Help to grow others. I would say help to bring food on the table. Yeah. I mean, that's the objective, Abdul. I'm a big believer in karma. I'm a huge believer in it. And I do feel that, if I'm able to help people succeed, then obviously they're going to be more interested in what I'm doing. They'll be able, not consciously help me, but, like whatever I'm doing, maybe give me a thumbs up on a video or whatever, if I have a training, maybe they'd be more inclined to want to learn with me, or maybe I have consulting or whatever I'm doing, right? So if I can help, it always comes back. I definitely believe that. So yeah, I agree with you on that, Abdul. Akash, sorry if I butcher your name up, buddy. One more question. How to increase conversions of the existing traffic on my site? Well, without the data in front of me, like, you need to know what's going on your site, right? Like, have you installed a heat map? Do you know where people are going, right? Do you have the products? Like, is stuff above the fold? Is your site fast enough? Like, you really need to be analyzing data in order to maximize conversion once you actually have a visitor on your page. So for me to give you generic answers would be, ridiculous. But one of the first things I would do is I would watch what the visitors are doing when they get to the page. Are they scrolling? Are they looking? Where are they looking? So heat map the site, take a look, see what you can do. I would start there. All right. So Jen says, good morning. Good morning, Jen. Great to have you on. If you have a question, please feel free to ask. Adding more, Akash says, adding more content makes sense in content marketing website. What about e-commerce website? Increase ranking for e-commerce. Well, again, I'm not necessarily an e-commerce guy, all right? But at the end of the day, right, Google needs to know what's on the page in order to rank, right? I've looked at e-commerce websites, and to be quite frank with you, Akash, the sites that are performing, some of the best that are performing, have content on the page. Whether it's informational, whether it's where the actual product is listed, but without a keyword, without a key phrase on the page, Google's never going to know where you are. All right. So every page, to me, this is my opinion. I'm not an e-commerce guy. I do affiliate. I do local. I do GMB, right? No matter what, everybody's content marketing. I mean, it's inevitable. If you want to gain traffic from Google, your content marketing, right? So I hope that helps you out. I don't know if that was a question or a piece of content. So ABCs, always be closing. Oh, always be contenting. Yes, that's right. Always be contenting. Got it. Yeah, I got it. ABC. Yeah, the industry that I came from, though, ABC is always be closing. But hey, I think you're right there. So it doesn't look like we have any questions. I will be hopping on with Craig Campbell on his channel in, pretty soon here, about 40 minutes. So if there is any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, we can call it a day. It's been more than a pleasure. As always, found a new game. I'm going to play this later. Well, I'm not going to play it. I'm going to test it. I don't play video games, but no questions? Cool. So, I guess that's going to wrap it up for today. If you found interest in the video, please, a thumbs up would be certainly appreciated, just so others can find the video. If there was something that maybe I missed or something you didn't understand, please let me know. I'll cover it again because I have some time here. How to interlink. Okay, this is an interesting thing. So let's go and use well, here, should I draw it out? I guess I could draw it out. It'll make it more easy. Here, let's use a new color, right? Interlinking is relatively simple. Well, first and foremost, let me say this, okay? So, Link Whisper offers a tool if you're utilizing WordPress, okay? Now, I don't use this, but if you're brand new to SEO, and I'm not promoting them, I'm just saying that this is something that I've seen, and the way the layout is of the tool, if you're a beginner and you just don't want to deal with it, what it does is it looks for words that are related, and it just makes these little tabs, and then you can just press a button and it does it all for you. Maybe that wasn't the best explanation, but check this out, and I think if you're a beginner, it'll be a lot easier. Now, if you're to make it the easiest or the simplest as possible, which I like to do, let's go over to white, and then let's talk about internal linking, okay? So, if I have a website, all right, let's say that this is my homepage, all right? So, homepage, right? Now, on this homepage, I obviously am going to have a piece of content, and let's say that this is a buyer-centric keyword that's going to be, I don't know, best camera, okay? Okay, so best camera is what this is. So best camera. Now, underneath it, are top 10 best cameras for 2021. Let's say that, right? Let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. How about this? So let's say that it's the best cameras under $400 in 2021, right? So this is going to be the top level page, right? So top level page meaning that this is the buyer intent keyword, and it's going to have it like a top 10 list, probably, right? Or maybe even 20. Now, underneath this, okay, it's probably generally, maybe, perhaps, this is how I would do it, is going to do camera 1, right? And then underneath that, okay, and this is another page. Underneath that's going to be camera 2, right? All right, and so on and so forth until we get to 10, okay? So 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Now, with that being said, if I have my top 10 cameras, generally, all right, if I have a page on this sidebar, maybe here or maybe at the top, you're probably going to have an unstructured list. You maybe even have images, but generally what I see a lot, and I know that is helpful and how I usually do it, is on the side over here, you're going to have an unstructured list, or you'll have photos of those cameras, which are actually internal linked to these pages, okay? So that's the top level page linking to all the pages that are underneath it. Now, with that being said, it's the same exact thing. If we go to this page, which is going to be camera 1, obviously we would have a sidebar linking to all of the pages, but also within the text of the piece of content, because we want to make contextual, we could also talk about, you know, let's say camera 1's a Nikon. This is a Nikon that has a lot of different features, very much similar to a Canon D760. And it just so happens that our camera D760 is number 8, right? I'm just on the fly making this up. But then you would internal link, you would just make that piece of text or that sentence, right? Probably a keyword, canon with the model, which is also article number 8. You just put it inside. So there's 3 things that I would do. If we're talking about internal linking, just to sum this up as easy as possible, is number 1. Number 1 is create a sidebar. So if you have a structured silo type of content, right? You have your top level piece of content, which is here. And then you would list all of your pages here that are in the bottom pieces of content, okay? Next, within the actual document, as you're talking about elements, as you're talking about whatever you're pitching, whatever you're doing, inside of the content, highlight and create hyperlinks or hypertext that is related to other pieces of content. And then you can just funnel your way right down. So that way everything is internally linked. So you can do sidebar, you can do footer, you can do inside the content, or you could do unstructured lists. I don't understand, or maybe it's just me. I get that question so often. Like, how do I do this properly? So if that doesn't make any sense to you and you're using WordPress, go and check out a tool called Link Whisper. I've never used it, but I know other people that were pitching it, and I saw a client of mine, he was utilizing it on a site, and I thought it was pretty cool. It seems like it would be helpful, all right? But I've never used it, but I know people who have. The other thing is, just if you want to be lazy and you want to do it easy, make a sidebar, right? And then just link your pieces in there. Another quick way is, I noticed, like, and you could take this from, like, say, a local website, like here, like Thrive. Here, let's go to here. THRI, Thrive Marketing Agency. This is just an example that I know that they have it. So I'll show you another way to do internal linking that's super easy is if you come down to the bottom, see this? These are their location pages. This is another way to internally link everything, right? I've seen this done. But you don't have to do it across the entire website. If you have your top level piece of content, instead of this being a location pages, say this is the ranking article, best camera, top 10 best 10 cameras. Down here would be the list of all the other stuff that's within the silo, and then this is only duplicated across those pages. That's another way to do it, right? Another way to do it is if you take a look here, if you take a look at my site, if you take a look over here, let's go to Xbox support. See how I did this over here? Popular articles. This could be all the other ones that are within the content, or if you want to send traffic. Also, if you take a look within the content, see how I've just highlighted this? These are internal links, okay? You could just put it inside of here, all right? So I hope that helps you out. I'm not sure exactly who asked that, but hopefully that helps you out. Internal links rocking. Yeah, you're not lying, Jen. They do. Think of it this way. 3 internal links, depending on your overall authority of your website, are almost equivalent to like getting a link from an outside site that's as of highest rank, that's of equal rank to yours, all right? So look at it that way. If you can send 3 internal links to a page, it's just like getting a link from an equal powered site from an external link, all right? So you can always look at it that way. So if you have something you really want to rank, like take a look at this. Like here's how powerful they are. If you go take a look at some of these top performers, right? Who's respected. Let's go look at Brian Dean. What's his name? Backlinko, right? I don't even know how to spell it. So if you go to Backlinko's page, check this out. Let me show you something. So if you go over here, I'm not sure where it is, but what's he pumping? Okay. So this is his newest article. Take a look here. If you come over here and you go to links, see these internal links, right? He's sending all kinds of links to this page. All right, so that's just to show you. All right, so internal links rock, and that was my agreement. All right, so let me see here. How to rank commercial keyword with the helping of interlinking. Yep, we just covered that. Internal linking, yes. Free method of interlinking. I just gave it to you. I mean, I covered it as much as I could. Chris, custom map for GMB. Do I have to index the custom map? If yes, then how? If no, then do people see my custom maps? Well, all right. So that's a loaded question. Can they index? Yes, I've seen them index, but it's very far and few. Okay. 2, do people see them? Not necessarily. It's more of a connection mechanism. All right. Meaning you are going to like you create your lead map. It's got your title. It's got your main entity. And then you create those little pins. I forget exactly what they're called underneath it. And this gives context to the overall map. Generally, what people do is they'll take their primary keyword, which is the top, and then their business name, and then all your secondary keywords or your secondary services, and then you're intertwining and linking to your other properties. I think it's just a really good way to create entity relationships within the Google platform, because if it's on Google, we know Google's seeing it, right? So it's more of a an entity builder than it is as a number one thing that's going to help you rank, like a backlink or creating content. All right. So I hope that makes sense to you, Abdul. I'm sure it does. I know you're pretty up on SEO stuff. Okay. Internal linking, informational keyword. Yeah. And don't make it complicated. You know, if you have a word that's on a piece of content that's relevant, link it to a page that you're trying to rank. All right. If you're creating a silo, create a footer or an unstructured list on the page, or you could do photos on the side like a sidebar that's going to link to the other pieces of content. It's literally just linking to itself and other internal pages. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. All right. If you have a relevant phrase on the page that can be interlinked to another page that you can control, link it. If you don't want to do any of that, do footer or do sidebar or an unstructured list on every single page that links to other pieces of content. All right. Very, 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 very easy. Don't overthink it. Just do it. All right. So hopefully that helps you out. Please show on website internal linking method. Yep, I did. I showed you multiple variations. Ken says, hey, Chris. Hello, Ken. Great to see you. Josh says sidebar, footer, header, nav don't really count as much as links without content, right? No, that's not true. Header and footer are viewed, especially the header. You know, links to higher at the page are weighted a little bit differently, all right? Sidebar links are equal to, all right? Obviously, if I want to push the most, I want to contain an anchor. But whether I'm putting it in the header, the footer, the sidebar, I mean, I would look at these almost the same. But if you really want to pass power within a site, do it in the header or the footer, all right? But I wouldn't say that they're less valuable, or I wouldn't say that something's more valuable. But if we had to put a valuation on the links of power for internal linking, I'd say header and contextual are probably the best, and then footer. So, yeah. What if you're already linking to a page from both nav and footer? Does it even matter if you're linking from content? I think if it's something that you really are trying to push, really trying to rank, you know, I would be trying to get as much internal power as possible. Now, if you're already linking from header and footer on the website, I mean, I'm talking about other pages. I think that adding another one might be helpful if it's relevant to the content that's already being written. Remember, hot words, hot links, or hot words, right, written within the patents, they hold more value. So that's why a contextual link, especially internally, it's just weighted a little bit differently. So, yeah, I would. If it's something you really want to rank. All right, so Jen says, in blog posts that have high page authority, I like to add internal links to my other blog posts that need a boost in rankings. Absolutely, without a doubt, Jen, definitely. Good piece of advice. Please show the website. I thought I did. I showed them all. I showed 3 different sites. Maybe I'm losing my mind. I thought I did. Is it not showing it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, so here we go. Yes, you do. Those pages need to have good content on them, or could they just be a contact page or a location page? I think that you know, I think that the context of the page matters, but again, internal link, passing the power from one page to another is passing the power from one page to another. How do I use press release program? How do I use your press release program? Well, you need a piece of content, Drew, but you can just message me, send me a text, and then, you know, we can talk about it. So 570-810-1080. All right. And I'll let you know. What was the extension you just used to check the backlinks? SEO Meta in one click. I like that tool a lot. Yeah, SEO Meta in one click is the best. Keyword research for interlinking. And Fammy, I think, man, or ma'am, I don't want you to overthink this. You know, you're talking about keyword research for internal linking. You know, if the page title, the URL, or the H1 has a particular keyword, right? Like, don't overthink this. If you have a page, okay, and it's about, you know, dog bones, all right? And then you have another page over here, and this is your milk bone page, all right? These have semantic relevance, all right? And that's past the fact that they're on the same website. So if this page over here, this one here is the one I want to rank, and on my milk bone page, so somewhere I'm sure you're going to say the word dog bone. All you would do is create a hyperlink that goes to this page, all right? That's it. So I hope that clears that up for you. Family, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Please don't overthink it. You're gonna get caught up in the whirlwind of you know, of madness. Just do it and move on, you know? Even if it's done wrong, it's better than not doing it at all and overthinking and spending too much time. Implement and move on. Implement your process, run through it, create your content, do your internal linking and do it, and then come back and search and then SEO it. All right? What's going on here? I'm not sure what happened here. Hello? I have no idea what happened. Maybe it kicked me off. They don't want me talking about this stuff anymore, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Oh, man. No idea what happened. All right. So if anybody has any questions here, you're good. I'm still on live. Please focus on content cluster. Yeah, I mean, we covered that to an extent. Chris is 100% correct. Don't overthink it. Just add the internal links. Yes, that's definitely what to do. But yeah, I mean, we've covered everything. I think I'm going to end it for today. I think that's it. I like this new rebranding that they did. I like their new logo. It looks cool for SEMrush. It's pretty neat. I like it. It looks like we're running good. I mean, it's a little slower than usual, but all right, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Example, can I link to SEO services, page speed services, WordPress services from top of my contact page, or should I just link to one page? So Josh, let me see here. Can I link to SEO services, page speed services? You know, if you have all these services, right? I think that that's a prime example of when you should, like the footer, you know. I think that's a good place. Or also, if you offer those other services, I don't see why within the content. I've seen this with multiple different marketing venues, right? Marketing websites. They're going to have their main leading content up at the top, but then they'll have like little blocks of content where it's going to say, like there'll be like these vectors or pieces of content that'll say, hey, we do this, 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 we do this. And then it's linking to the internal links of the other services that they offer, as an all-in-one marketing firm. You see this across the web. So if you're saying, can I link to the service pages or page speed services, WordPress services from the top of my contact page, or should I link to one page? I don't see why you wouldn't, depending on the layout, depending on if it makes sense, I would do it from the contact page. Why not? I would make the contact page enlist everything that I do. Obviously above the fold, the top piece of content is going to state, here's my phone number, here's who I am, here's where I'm at, here's my address, here's my P.O. box, right? But then of course, list of services. Why not? And then internally link them. Yes. So I hope that answers your question. To the question, I linked to too many pages. The question is, should I link to many pages from the content? If you're asking me if there's a limit, there's not. You can do whatever you want, all right? I think, again, it's more of a usability piece. I think it's more of a what makes sense. And you're probably not focused on every single piece of content as far as ranking. You probably have a main service, right? Make it make sense. If it doesn't look bad, or if it makes sense, then yes, internally link everything if it makes sense. You could do it from images. There's multiple ways to do it. So yeah, hopefully that helped you out. But break up the content with links. Yeah, so here's another example, Josh. So if you take a look at, here, we'll go back to Thrive. We'll use them as an example again, all right? Thrive Digital Marketing Agency. So let's take a look at their services. We'll see they have a mega menu here, and they're listing everything. If you take a look at this, all these pages are duplicate, right? Not these pages, but the pages for each of the cities. But if you take a look, like let's go in here to local SEO. So if you scroll down, not for this one. Maybe they changed this. Let's go to SEO, and then let's pick a city. And then if you take a look, see how these are? See, this is all their different services. See how they did it? So these are internal links, and then look at it's baked into the content. And then if you take a look here, look at each of these go to a different page. This is all internally linked, right? And they did it. They have the image. You could do it with just an image. I like how they did it here. That's why I'm showing theirs. I like how they set this up. This is a good format for any type of local service. I don't like how they did their URL structuring, but as far as if you take a look, they have all their services listed up at the top. They have it as a mega menu, and then each service breaks down into each city, and then each of the cities are broken up in the footer. This is a good blueprint for any type of business, but I would work on, I don't like how they did their URL structuring, because the URL should read how a person is searching. It's one of the top ranking signals for on page. So URL, the title, and the H1 need to contain target key phrases. It's not always, the way to go. You can't always do that, but it's definitely something you should be aiming for. So hopefully that helps you out, Josh. I'm still live. Yeah, I was checking everything, wondering what's going on here. All right, so I think that's it. Let's go see. I'm waiting for Craig to get in touch with me. I'm hoping that we can hopefully answer some questions, help some people out. So yeah. All right, so if there's no other questions, anybody got it? Good talk. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you everybody that has taken the time to ask a question. I definitely look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm probably going to be revamping a couple things. I just want to redo a few things on the channel. The way it looks, the way I present content. Obviously the volume. I want to increase volume because my objective is I want to do SEO. And it's funny that Abdul asked me, will you do anything about... You have questions? Go ahead. Give them to me. I'll answer them. But Jack, Matt, Prince, ask the questions. I'll answer them. It's no problem. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. I'm not in any rush. I'm about to do another live in a minute here with Craig Campbell. Prince, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead, buddy. Here. Look at it. I'll pin it. Go for it. Go for it, dude. But yeah, I want to restructure some things, and the objective is going to be I want to target I want to do like the how-to tutorials and the teaching like usual. But I also want to centralize around affiliate because that's, something that I really am passionate about. So local affiliate, just the stuff that I'm passionate about. And then I also want to have a section that's going to be talking more about social media because I think that, content strategy and search engine optimization is key. But if you really want to get that full spectrum, you really need to learn, like Facebook ads, YouTube, whatever. So I'll incorporate some more of that too. My objective is 2 videos a day. I'm working with a couple people to get it. I just want to flood the market, really. So yeah, what's the question there, Prince? Shoot, buddy. Go for it. Answer away. Would you already ask it? Let's take a look here. No? Yeah, hey, if you got a question, go ahead. Go for it. All right, so Uma says, hey, Chris, hosting a site on SiteGround, how can I keep my PBN site separate? Well, that's an interesting statement. I'm not sure why you would only want to go SiteGround, right? I've shared this before. I think if you want to stick with WordPress, that's perfectly fine, right? But I think that you should be looking like you could go to a site like this, Low End Box, okay? So go to Low End Box and take a look at the VPSs, and then depending on where you are, like if we go to lowendbox.com, like if you take a look here, this is just a list of all the VPSs that you can get at an affordable price. So one of the services, one of the people that I really like to use for VPSs, and the reason why I like VPSs is because they're fast, they're easy to implement. So you go get your VPS, which will give you a fresh IP, and if you take a look at some of the prices, like one of the guys that I really like is Rack Nerds, right? I think that's who they are, Rack Nerds. I forget their names off the top of my head, but I have it with them. I work with them. They're actually in Los Angeles, and let's take a look here. But anyway, you could go in here, and then if you take a look, you can get this guy right here is willing to give you a VPS for $13 a year, and they're junkiest. Like you can upgrade, you can do $30 a year. $30 a year, you have a whole site on a VPS. It runs super fast, and then all you need to do is come over here, like go to Google if you don't know how to do it, and just put how to upload WordPress to VPS, right? And there's like a million articles, right? So what I'm getting at is this. So how do you keep them separate? So how you do it is you go to a place like this, you get some cheap VPS hosting, because there's a difference between VPS hosting that's cheap and a shared that's $3 a month. Like, why should I pay $3 a month to SiteGround and get something that is horrible when I could pay the same cost and get something twice as fast, upload PHP or WordPress, it's PHP, upload it to the server. I now have WordPress, and then I can then set up different sites under different IPs. These guys don't care. You can sign up under different names. It's super easy. Super easy. All right? So that's my recommendation. All right, cool. And that's how I would do it. So that's how you can keep them separate. Uma, I hope that helps you out. It's WordPress. Yeah. So that's how I would do it, Uma. Like, get away from the shared. Like, go set up your own VPSs. They're cheap, they're fast, they're easy to do. Once you know how to set it up, it's super easy. You get a tool called Putty, and then you upload all the files, and then it's the same thing. Like, you buy it for $13 for the year. You upload the files using a tool called Putty, and then it's the same thing. You just log in like you usually do. You know, you go to your website.com, WP login. It's the same thing. Same exact thing. Super easy, super cheap, super fast. It's the best way to go. Hopefully that helps you out. All right. Is it important to build links to one single piece of content? Yes. Yes. If it's something that you want to rank or something that is important to you, then you need to build links to it. All right. You know, I know a lot of popular, blog writers and blog guys out there that are, pitching their trainings or doing whatever they're doing. And they tout to write tons of content and just let it sit. Well, that's their plan and their terminology is great, but the next piece that you need to do is build links or do outreach to that content. Why wait a year? Why not wait 5 months? So the answer is definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. What do you think about doing a page for every city, keyword near me in city state, then adding on that page local city hall link, local weather, local image, like flag for the city? I think that's the way to go. When I'm consulting with people, I just had somebody and they're having wonderful success. I won't say the niche, but what they did is they have their main property, and I said, hey, you want to set up a PBN that's cheap and easy? Do it through AWS. You get a huge, vast array of different IPs. So then you can go in and you can create, 100 different pieces or 50 or 20, right? And each of these little mini sites that you go in and you create, that's exactly what you want to do. So you're going to create your location, right? Your locale. Let's clear this off. And I'm answering your question here. I just like to give some context. All right, so here's the content. So when you're creating your page, when you're creating these filler pages or service pages or location pages, you're probably creating, 500 of them? Maybe 1,000 of them, right? And you don't want to keep creating content. So the bulk of the content down here, let's say it's, 500 words, 500 to 600 words, it's pretty much the same. You're probably going to change an image. But this piece that's up here, right, where you're going to add, okay, here's your city or town modifier, and then you're going to add in details like the state representative, the flag representative. You're going to talk about details that are related to that specific area. Let me go ahead and show you an actual live example of this. All right. So if we do digital marketing Las Vegas, right? I'll show you an example of this. So you can have a visual representation of exactly what I'm talking about. So if you come on down here, we'll go to Control F and Google Site. I think it's this one right here. So, yep, this is the one. So if you take a look here, here's a representation, okay? So as you can see here, see what they're adding in? They're adding in, here's the Congress people. It's making it relevant to this particular area, all right? Now, I'm not saying you have to do it this way, but what I'm getting at is this. They're adding in some of the details. And then if you come on down here and we take a look at the content, it's actually just filler content, right? But what I'm getting at to give you a representation is by adding specific details, right? They have a relevant photo. They're talking about stuff that's related Because if we take a look at the NLP tool, when they're pulling out entities, they're pulling out people, places, things that are related, right? So when you go over to Wikipedia, they're going to talk about population size. They're going to talk about the flag. They're going to talk about the representatives. They're going to talk about, right? They're making those relations. So you want to be able to incorporate those into your page. Not only is it giving you variance for word count so you can beat duplicate content filters, but you're also making your page more relevant. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so I gotta go. I have a call coming up, so it's been a pleasure. I actually have to hop off. I have to go on with Craig, so it's been more than a pleasure. Volter's too expensive, but you can use it if it's something that you want. But it's been a pleasure. Contextual links pass link juice more than profile links. If I'm going to build a link, I want contextual, so I think they do, yes. People use 301 redirects to city mini pages to the home pages. Does this still work? People use 301 redirect city pages. Yes, you can do that. What's easier than that is doing canonicals. What about using some sort of schema GPS location to the page too? Is that a good thing? Utilizing and implementing schema to build the relationship is definitely recommended. So you're thinking of the right thing here, Code Showers. And then thank you, Chris. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all. If you guys want to give me a call, it's 570-810-1080. Feel free to reach out, or you could go to chrispalmermarketing.com and sign up for consultation. Or if you just want to reach out, make sure you're my friend and send me a message. All right, so it's been more than a pleasure. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Or if you have more questions, come on over and talk with me and Craig. We'll be happy to answer your questions. All right, so I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Many blessings. Many blessings. Have a great day. I gotta go.